All right, we are back here, Home Track Heroes on CW11, a beautiful night of racing, and we've had some phenomenal racing so far. Got a couple more main events coming up for you. Coming up is our NASCAR mini stocks brought to you tonight by J2 Parts. J2 Parts is your headquarters for everything racing. They're online at j2racing.parts or right across the street from Evergreen Speedway right here in Monroe. Check them out, J2 Parts, and they've had a really good presence in our NASCAR mini stocks.
You're right. They've had a great presence here at the Speedway, not only with the mini stocks, but every class that runs here at Evergreen Speedway. How about the lineup, Steve?
Let's bring you the lineup. In the number 20 car is Jason Wilson. Brad Thomas will carry one of our in-car cameras in the number 5. Nat Barber, longtime campaigner in the races against child abuse, number 97. In the number 4 car will be Cole Reardon. The 521 will have an in-car as well. That's going to be driven by longtime campaigner Mike Jensen. Thomas Stanford, keep an eye on that number 19 car because he is impressive.
In row 4, it's Jimmy Absher in the 26 car, followed by Brandon Brock on the outside in 94. The next row back, the 29 of Dylan Bewald. The 22 car of Ken Legalton. What kind of car is Ken Legalton?
It's a PT Cruiser. We've got 2 of them in this field.
Perfect. The
That's
last
right.
row, it's the number 13 of Doug Hines. Outside of him will be Riley Daughtry in the 25 car.
Yeah, if you ever wondered what happened to the PT Cruiser, it's on our screen right here. Speedway Chevrolet pace car will pull off and assume its position on the infield of our 3/8 track, and we're going to get really cozy here with Jason Wilson in the 20 and Brad Thomas. And keep an eye out. Here we go. We're underway. 30 laps for our NASCAR mini stocks here on Home Track Heroes.
They head off down into turn 1, 2x2 as they go down the backstretch. It's anybody's race at this point. They're going to be working hard to try to get to the lead. We'll be looking for Thomas Stanford in that 19 car. He is your points leader, and that thing is bad fast.
It really is bad fast. Lap 1 in the book. Jason Wilson in the 20. Great in-car shot with Brad Thomas. You get an idea of how much these cars can really put in. You got to have good upper arm strength because, boy, these things can throw it. Like right now, look at that. Look at him working that steering wheel. Great job by Brad Thomas to get that thing under control. A couple cars got by him, but thankfully earlier in the race, you see Stafford right there in that number 19. Almost a late model looking type car, but boy, is that thing impressive, and a great job by Brad Thomas in the 5 to get back underway.
Thomas Stanford, as I said, is your points leader, followed by Dylan Bewald. In the 3rd spot is Cole Reardon. Nat Barber, number 4, and Mike Jensen in the 521. He is 5th in the season-long point standings.
As they come out of turn number 2 here on lap number 4, Nat Barber with about a 6-car length lead over Jason Wilson in the number 20 car. Good run on the inside. And that looks like that might be Cole Reardon in the number 4 car making the move down on the inside as they come across the start-finish line. Thomas Stanford in that 3rd spot with Jason Wilson hanging tough in that 4th spot.
You're right, and you know, lots of billboards around the Speedway. If you happen to stop in those businesses, tell them you're there because you saw their advertisement out at Evergreen Speedway, and that's why you're there, because it makes everybody's job a little easier, whether it's sponsorship for a race car, an event, a signboard here at the Speedway.
Thomas Stanford in that number 19 car now here with 5 laps in the book, solidly in that 2nd spot, and Nat Barber with a miracle of black bumper cover on the 19. Nice move on the outside. And there he goes, Thomas Stanford in that number 19 car side by side as they come off of turn number 2. A great run off the top part of the 2nd turn, and it's all Thomas Stanford in that 19 now by about 6 car lengths over Nat Barber in the 97. And we're going to get back inside the 521 of Mike Jensen.
You're right. You can see that seat that contains him, holds him in there. It, works off of his shoulders, works his head to make sure that that's good and safe. You can see his radio right there to his right side. It's kind of sticking up amongst all those wires. And of course, you can see the gear shifter down there by the checkerboard that run down his legs of his uniform.
You see when you see these in-car shots, it's really interesting how close the guys have the steering wheel to them. A lot of us, when we're on the freeway and we're just kind of kicked back and we're just cruising along, these guys, it uses a different type of muscle in their arms. It's way easier for them when the steering wheel is up close. You look at some of the NASCAR races that you see throughout the year, some of them have them just like inches away from their chest. And it seems like such an uncomfortable way to drive, but it helps you pull a little bit better and saves your arms.
No, you're absolutely right, and you get it up closer, you're working it. And the other thing you want to watch when you get these in-car footage is watch their hands, how light some of the good drivers are just barely holding on to that wheel. They're moving their fingers there, so relaxed. Here's some great in-car footage side by side as they head off into turn 3 at turn 4 and down the front straightaway.
Great battle between the 5 of Brad Thomas and the 20 of Jason Wilson in his PT Cruiser. It sure looks like if he could just pull a little bit forward, I could really dial in on that. But look at him going side by side. This is so cool.
Look how close they are. Not touching, but side by side as they head off turn 4 down the front straightaway, completing lap number 12.
These guys have battled quite a lot over this division, and Jason Wilson with a nice run, keeping that 5 car of the Brad Thomas machine pinned down there. Let's see if he can kind of get a good run coming off the high top out of turn number 4.
Great battle. I mean, side by side, not touching each other, doing exactly, how it is. And, obviously you're on the inside short way. On the outside, you keep that momentum up, trying to drive on by.
Got to throw a great shout out to the editors that do this for us here on Home Track Heroes, Curtis and Derek. They're going to hate me for telling this, but they're doing such a great job, especially splicing in these in-car shots, because it's a great battle between Brad Thomas in the 5 and Jason Wilson in the 20.
Why don't we post up their cell phone numbers so maybe they can get some phone
calls?
Great
idea. See,
thanks.
We'll do that next week.
Okay.
You can call them and tell them what a great job they're doing.
Call them late at night.
Boy, speaking of which, Jason Wilson hanging in there. Very impressive. That 5 car of Brad Thomas, I believe, I'm not going to say it because I'm not 100% sure, but I thought he had won a championship in this division. He has. And boy, up front, though, it is all Thomas Stanford. Set a new track record out here earlier in qualifying for our NASCAR mini stocks. In this great battle, seeing Dylan Bewald in that 29 car as he's going to get into the fray. Here is we're just past the halfway point in our main event for the NASCAR mini stocks.
This is kind of demoralizing for the rest of this group.
It really
they have
is.
worked hard. They put their best piece out there. And somehow Thomas Stanford has figured this thing out.
He sure has.
He is driving off into the sunset with just 13 laps to go.
Yeah, it's an amazing, amazing car. And look he's just out there all by himself. It's so impressive. Nat Barber having a good run in his car.
That's no
as well.
slouch. Nat knows what he's doing.
No, he really
in mini
does.
stocks. He's a tough cat to compete with.
Best battle on the track is right on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, as they are side by side, 2 rows going down turn number 3 with Brad Thomas, Jason Wilson. Looks like as they come off the turn there, Dylan Bewald is in this one, and Mike Jensen in the 521. All 4 stout cars. Let's get back in camera with Dylan Bewald in the car.
Yeah, you can take a look. There's this tacta over on his left side. You can see how many RPMs that thing's turning. You can look at the gauges, which he doesn't get a chance to look at very often. When you're going that fast, that close together, the only time you look at it is when you smell it, hear it, or feel it. And by then, it's probably too late.
And boy, isn't this a beautiful interior on the 26 of Jimmy Absher. Boy, that craftsmanship in that car is very impressive.
That wheel drilled, reason for those holes, better grip, lighter weight.
Yep.
So it's nice. It helps with the grip of the steering wheel because drivers sometimes have a tendency to grip too hard. Your hands will actually go to sleep.
Man, oh man, look at that. Bewald is just railing that thing down the middle of the backstretch as they go into turn number 3. The car wanted to go right on him, so you can see how he's just having to fight to set up on that thing, but he's got a lot of competition up on the outside.
5 of them right there in the pack as they head off down into turn 1. As you said, working hard. And you think about you do that for, 30 laps, which in that race car sometimes seems like all day. And I'll tell you, you go to work on Monday and they're going to be sold.
Knock on wood, but we have been, almost had our first caution of the race there, but a beautiful save by Thomas in the 5 car. I'm so impressed with this race. This has been one of the best ones, as you see. Thomas Stanford, our leader, getting around to 22 of Legault here with 5 laps to go.
We've got 5 more circuits around and another win in the books for Thomas Stanford. As you mentioned, fast qualifier today, set a new track record. When you can do that in the track conditions that they had today, you got it figured out.
That's very impressive. All right, let's go back inside. Now we're in the number 4 car of Cole Reardon. And it's kind of amazing, too, to see the differences of you never get to see a really good interior shot of these type of cars. And it's really cool to see the differences in the different cars that we've had. So cool that we've got four cars with in-car cameras in our NASCAR mini stock main event. And again, want to thank J2 Racing for bringing you this race, and also Speedway Chevrolet for being a big supporter here at Evergreen Speedway on Home Track Heroes. You see Matt Barber coming off of turn number 4, but back up front here as the laps are winding down, it is all Thomas Stanford, and has been that way pretty much all race long.
You bet. And he, just count down a couple more. Here we are back at that in-car shot. You can see because he runs a windshield. You see the visor on his helmet. He's actually tipped it up. He's probably looking to get a little bit of air in there, cool down just a little bit.
All right, like Tom mentioned, we'll see the white flag. You can see the flagman just getting it in hand as they come around. Thomas Stanford now just walking away with this NASCAR mini stock main event here. He will see it coming out of turn number 4, and boom, there it is. And down in turn number 1, he's been hitting that same spot in turn 1 all race long. Then we go back to, I believe, the second spot, Nat Barber.
And then, you know what? Stanford's going to take it home this week and try and figure out how to make it even better for next week, which spells bad news for the competition.
Checkered flag out. Wins the main event. Wins heat race number 1. Nat Barber in the second spot. Cole Reardon with a nice run in the number 4 car. Then we go back to Dylan Bewald, Mike Jensen. That's your top 5. Jason Wilson, Jimmy Absher, Brad Thomas, Ken Legault, and Doug Hines make up the top 10. And rounding out the field, Brandon Brock and Riley Daughtry, and we'll bring up our top 3, and Dave will get to have a few words with Kyler Hope here as he is down at the start-finish line waiting for him. Let's go down.
Down here in Angel of the Winds, Victory Lane with Thomas Stanford for the second time this season. The track a little bit hotter, a little bit drier, and also a little bit slicker tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty slick earlier when it was hot out, but not as slick as the rain was last time. So we made a lot of adjustments, picked up a lot of speed. I think we got another track record. So, and then the win. So we're super pumped. We're happy.
Who do you have to thank for all the off-season work this past extended off-season?
Well, I really got to thank my dad and then my buddy Nathan Zeidema and my father-in-law Darren. They've been instrumental as the crew, and of course my wife, she puts up with us all, and then sponsors APC Auto Spa, Hager Motorsports, Easy Street Asphalt, Frost Livestock, Alpine Air. It takes a team to get this done, and we've got a good one.
Thomas Stanford goes back-to-back. Down here, second place, Nat Barber. A hot track and went green to checkered. Are you pretty tired after that long race?
Yeah, we're new car for this year, and we're working on setup stuff, and so far it's not great, but it's good enough for second, so we'll take it. Yeah, I mean, this car is not like my old one, and like I said, we're creeping up on it. We'll get there.
Who do you want to thank for putting you up to second tonight?
I got to thank all my crew, my brother Gator, my wife Amy, my brother-in-law Chris, my crew guy Ben, Colton, my driver normally, but he'll be back in the other car later. And I got to thank everybody that supports us with Racers Against Child Abuse. You can look us up on Facebook, Racers Against Child Abuse. And we also have a website, racersagainstchildabuse.com. And I also need to thank my engine builder, Jamie Thomas, Black Bag Motors, for building some stout Volkswagen stuff. So, yeah.
Nat Barber brings a 97 to second tonight. Cole Reardon back on the podium, another third place on the season in the new class for you. How did the car feel today in a completely different track?
Yeah, it felt really good, actually. Yeah, I made a couple changes before the heat race, and it went for the better, and yeah, it feels good.
What more did you need to catch Nat? You were gaining him a little bit at the end there, and you just came just a little bit short.
To hit my lines better. More seat time. Yeah. You know, new car for me. It's, yeah.
Who do you want to thank for the podium?
Oh, I need to thank a lot of people. Happy Cookies and Cakes, TransLab, Finish Line Brothers Construction, Above and Beyond Construction, Finish Line Drafting, J2 Racing Parts, my crew, my spotter Jamie, my girlfriend, my daughter. Everybody makes it happen.
Cole Reardon comes home with another third place finish.
All right, congratulations to the top 3 in our NASCAR mini stocks. Let's get right to it. Our final main event here on Home Track Heroes. Beautiful afternoon, and our Northwest Motorsport Street Stocks coming up. And again, thanks to Northwest Motorsport for getting on board. Here's the lineup.
You bet. Starting on the pole, it'll be Ted Lindgren in the 88 car. Outside of him will be the Dukes kid. That's Jake Grant in the 19. In row 2, it's Dave Lund in the 28. Outside, Mark Hubbard, who's done a little bit of everything and won in every division here at Evergreen Speedway. Row 3, it's Mike Marthaler in the 44 car. Outside of him will be Nick Beecher in the 45. In the 4th row, it's Sheridan Vincent And outside of him will be the 23K of Cal Jeff.
Jeff Miller will be behind the wheel of the number 30. A longtime campaigner in the 22 is Kenny Erickson. Blaine Fagerly in the 03. Travis Blackwood, a former, I believe, a former champion in this division from years ago, is in his familiar number 5. Austin Camp in car number 65. The great Jim Fody in car number 85. And Tommy Rasmussen in car number 92 as the Speedway Chevrolet pace car pulls off. 30 laps coming up. Our final main event here on Home Track Heroes, and green flag is out.
You bet they head off into turn 1. Tight, 2 by 2 as they head off of there into turn 2. It's still Lindgren out front, followed by Jake Grant in that car that they bought from Dave Lund over the winter and redid it.
And Dave Lund in that absolutely gorgeous number 28 car. Now I see what people were getting all jacked up about that car. Absolutely a hybrid, but boy, does he do some incredible craftsmanship. Noticeable by the absence is our last race winner in this one. They were loaded up and they came in, and that is the 3-car owned by Dirk Kruzwick, driven by Jesse Jensen. Apparently they had some issues early on in the day and couldn't bring it out, but we wish they were in the race, and we'll see them plenty of times coming up here.
Coming down for lap 2, we now have a new leader. It's Dave Lund. He's gone by Lindgren. Lindgren's in the number 2 spot, followed by Jake Grant and Mike Marthaler.
Mike Marthaler was our fast qualifier out here this afternoon in that number 44 car. That had to feel really good as we have a spin. Oh, Fody gets into the number 30 car of Jeff Miller here in turn number 1. And while they get this cleaned up, we're going to take a break. We'll have more racing here from Evergreen Speedway when we come back on Home Track Heroes.